Hello, everyone. Today you're listening to a rockbandreviews.com interview segment, and I'm Bill Hernandez, and I have the extreme pleasure to talk with singer-songwriter John Waite, who'll be sharing the stage with Pat Benatar this Saturday night, October 16th, at the Lillian S. Wells Hall in Fort Lauderdale. Now, we're approaching about 45 years since the Baby sophomore release album titled Broken Heart in 1977, and since then, John Waite has endured the rock and roll roller coaster with such hits as Isn't It Time, Every Time I Think of You, When I See You Smile, and of course the smash hit Missing You. John, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Bill. Yeah, thanks.
We last saw you just before the pandemic here in Florida at the Old School Square Pavilion in Delray Beach for an amazing show, a pretty intimate small theater, and just an absolute dream come true to see you in such a more intimate setting. And since then, so much in this world has changed, most notably with COVID-19. How did you spend your time during the lockdown?
I drank a lot of red wine. I didn't really have anywhere to go. I couldn't really think of leaving the house, to hit the market, buy fresh bread, some vegetables, and a bottle of wine, and just come back and cook dinner, me and my girlfriend. That was basically my entire thing. I didn't write. I thought I was going to write, like a double album and create, but I needed an audience to write for. I think I needed a deadline, and there was no deadline at all. Everything was just open-ended. You have to remember there was no vaccine, so everybody was just like, "What's going on?" So I painted a lot. I went back to painting, but music I put on the back burner, and that came back, roaring back, when we started playing shows again about 2-3 months ago. And I'm in the studio. I'm actually in the studio today. I'm in the middle of a new record. And obviously playing shows, so it's been a weird time. I think the whole world has changed over that 18-month period. Politics have changed, people have changed. The economy's changed, everything is different now. And I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, time will tell.
It's just like everything recalibrated and kicked off again. So, hoping that things level out and there's peace on earth, etc., but these are hard times, and I don't think the pandemic has helped at all.
Well, these are hard times, but with you, as well as a lot of other musicians and bands are starting to come out and do shows, it's bringing a light to the hard times right now, because as you know, music can do so much for people mentally and in their hearts and in their minds. So you guys are like the Pied Pipers of this situation. We're all sitting here, gloom and doom, and then John Waite is coming. Pat Benatar is coming. All these great bands that we love and maybe took for granted, are all coming back to us and just filling us up with a lot of hope.
Well, that's a nice way. Yeah. I think music, Keith Richards said that, first thing he needs in the world is like food and drink, and then music. I think people take it for granted just how serious art, whether it's music or literature or whatever it is. It could be a cartoon on the TV, or it could be the Mona Lisa. But I think that it's like the nearest we've got to a universal religion that we all agree on. And I think music is foremost in the front of it. Because, if you took a bunch of Israelis and you took a bunch of Palestinians and you put them in a big black room, turn the lights out, and then you started playing Barry White, everybody would be dancing down. It would be like a party, right? And that should tell you a great deal about what music is. You don't need to speak any kind of language to communicate with somebody. If you're playing music, it's a universal thing. It's been said before, it'll be said again. But it's if music be the food of love, play on. It's that's what makes the world go round, really.
It's amazing. If you're walking down the street and you accidentally shoulder bump somebody because you're in a crowd or something, I can almost guarantee instantaneously that the other guy might get a little attitude and, hey, what's going on? But yet, if you're in a fully loaded auditorium seeing a musical event, you can bump into somebody 20 times, but everybody's happy. Everybody's joyous.
When you've done that, you can, graduate to the mosh pit.
Yes, yes. At my age, I think I'm going to pass on that right now. But
yeah, I know. You could get a rubber suit and jump in just for old time's sake. But yeah, it's great to be back on the road. Within 2 months of playing dates again and interacting with the band, and I went almost immediately back in the studio on the off days. I've had a week off. I've spent all last week in the studio, and I'm going in today. And I've got 3/4 of an album on the way.
Wow.
So it's good, and it happens so fast. It's almost something that happens beyond your control. But the tap has been turned on, and I can feel the turbines humming away. Neil and Patty are out there killing it every night, and it's great to be out there with them. They're a great team, great people. The crew's great. Everybody has a ball. It's a great night, It's just a lot of fun, and it's just great to be out playing live again.
We're excited to have you back in Fort Lauderdale again. And again, this Saturday night, October 16th, at the Lillian S. Wells Hall in Fort Lauderdale, otherwise well known as the Parker Playhouse. And I want to ask you, as a vocalist, what do you do, if anything, to maintain your vocals while you're on tour? More red wine?
No, I've given that up, actually.
Okay.
I don't do anything. I don't even warm up. Somebody once asked a guitar player that was working with me what I did to warm up, and he said he smokes a cigarette and drinks a Pepsi. I thought that was kind of, that said it all. I don't really worry about my voice. Mm-hmm. It's always in, after saying that you could get the flu,
Sure.
But it's just always been there. It's in great shape. I never think about it. I'm always more worried about the band being in tune and the tempos being right. After that, it's every man for himself. But I really don't really have any kind of thing I do. I just woke up and get lost in it,
Nice. Now, I also understand that from a very young age, you developed a love for country music and even had a bit of a crush on Brenda Lee, which I can understand. Yeah. I can. Now, are there any thoughts to putting out maybe a country album from that era?
Well, that would be wonderful. I just don't want to be seen as Johnny Come Lately. I was kind of down in Nashville, Tennessee, in the 90s, early 90s, all the way through the 90s into the millennium. I was going down there and living down there and recording. The city changed a great deal over the last 10 years, and it's now more sort of cosmopolitan musically. And there's a lot of rock guys living there, and it's just changed a lot. But my love for country and folk music and blues is constant. The really great songwriting in American music, the storytelling has come from country. Mm-hmm. And the blues would be encapsulating a kind of attitude and a moment, and in a very simplistic way, hitting it really hard, which had tremendous resonance with the music. But the storytelling aspect all came from country and bluegrass. And may I say, even more maybe in bluegrass, there was something about that Appalachian, droning Scottish-Irish influence that means a great deal to me. I was born in the northwest of England, and there's Irish blood in me. And what I listened to as a little boy was cowboy music and folk music. And you can hear it in the Beatles, you can hear it in Paul McCartney's harmonies, and it's genuinely come by. I just don't think you're going to hear me playing with a banjo. It's just that I've always had country music as part of my musical makeup. Mm-hmm. And when I'm writing songs, there are occasionally actual stories inside the songs, which is unusual for rock.
Yes.
But it's something that I'd say seriously. I mean, I think naturally I'm a storyteller, and the music is right behind it.
Now, when you started with the Babies, you were the vocalist and the bass player in the band.
Yeah.
What was it about the bass that drew you to the instrument, and who is your biggest bass playing inspiration?
Well, I've always loved bass instruments, the cello, oboe, viola, double bass. I always loved it. I mean, you can hold a note down and then you can sing major or minor notes against it. You can do it. You can control a band when you're playing live. You can really have a lot of influence. It's simplistic and it's zen. And the moment that really got me, actually made me realize that it was bass that was my first instrument, was one Christmas when I got the two first Beatles records for Christmas. And I spent Christmas Day in my bedroom with no heating on. We'd just moved into this big house, but I couldn't come out. I was listening to these records over and over again. But when Paul McCartney, and I saw her standing there, he goes, "How could I dance with another?" But there's a changing, there's a bass note, a passing note that he plays, and it's the most incredible thing. Nobody had ever done that. I don't think they've done it in classical music. I don't know. Maybe it was in some kind of musical somewhere that he'd heard. But the passing note there, how could I dance with an... It was like an epiphany. I heard that, and I thought it was the most incredible thing to achieve that with one note as you were singing the melody. You know, it had a profound impact on me. And instead of looking at the piano or the guitar as a future instrument to learn, I started looking for basses, and I finally got one around the age of maybe 15.
And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Now, I tell you, it's really great to see the Wooden Heart Acoustic Anthology is now a trio. You know, we have Volume 3. Will the anthology continue with 4, 5, 6?
I don't know. I think there's only so much time left on the clock. And the new album is it's all electric, you know. And some of it, apart from one song, which is a folk song, but it's all written on the acoustic, but it's driven by drums and electric guitar. So I think maybe I'm going to put that to one side for a while, the acoustic music. We'll be playing acoustic shows. I think that the show coming up with Paddy is going to be somewhat acoustic. It's got bass guitar, I think, and 2 guitar players. It's just misses the drums, but it's pretty loud.
Yeah.
But it's acoustic, you know. But I mean, I did something with that album, the Wooden Heart albums, that I've been wanting to do all my life, and it surprised me. It turned out the closest I ever got to what was going on in my head, and I think I'll leave it now and come back to it maybe in a year or 2.
Okay.
But there's going to be a new electric record out in about 6 months.
Do we have a title yet?
Oh no, and if I had, I wouldn't tell you.
Well, fine then.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
No, but you tell somebody, and then suddenly about a month later, there's this album out, and it's called the same thing, you know. So
yeah,
you can't give away things like that.
Now you, besides a musician, you've become a bit of an artist. What got you into creating selfie art?
Oh, well, listen, I went to art school. I had a diploma in fine art and stuff. I was going to be a painter, but it didn't work as fast as music, so I chose music. But the selfie thing is purely a caricature that I do on people's albums. If they're waiting outside a show and they couldn't get in, or if it's a fan that's traveled halfway around the world see you play. I would do a caricature on instead of an autograph, and just to give them something that was more personal.
Sure.
And then I was getting emails from people wanting to give them to their family or that have it for a birthday present or Christmas present. And I used to just send them off, here, have it. And then I started doing sort of like quite a few of them. We put them up on the internet with other bits of portraiture that I was doing, like Patti Smith or Eric Satie, or people that impressed me. And they sold, So I realized it was something that people wanted and that I could, that interested me still. The drawing, the line, how you put it on the page, how you put it on the canvas. I'm as fascinated with that as I am with music. It's just that music's quicker. But I've gone back to painting in the pandemic, like I said. And one day, when the curtains close for the last time and I wander off, I'll go back to painting full time, I hope.
Nice. There's a lot of musicians that are doing art and doing very, very well. We have Wentworth Art Gallery, which is all over the U.S., and we got guys like drummer Rick Allen from Def Leppard, who's a fantastic painter, Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead, Paul Stanley from Kiss. All these guys are out there doing this amazing art. So, like you said, once the curtains close, you'll move on to your second career.
Well, yeah, I can see, I remember seeing a picture of Winston Churchill sitting in his garden with his big white coat on, chomping on his cigar with a straw hat.
Yes.
Painting a landscape. And I thought that's not a bad way to spend your sunset years,
Sure.
Glass of gin, cigar, paintbrush, canvas, sunny day. Nice.
It's so much more less stressful than touring, so.
Well, it depends what you think. I mean, I really feel at home on the road. I mean, people say that. It's like, but there's different ways of doing it. After a lifetime of being running through airports and going blind onto a stage without a sound check, and all the rough end of it, like being stuck in a snowstorm somewhere and having to trudge through snow to get to the dressing room door. I mean, I kind of know how to do it now. Nobody gets stressed out. It's a joy, I think just being older, you know what works and what doesn't. That's called growing up. But I think I have it down. I think I know how to save it all for the stage. And it's what you make it. And it should be a great time. It's the best time you're going to have all day,
Yeah. Well, speaking of a great time, let's remind everyone this Saturday night, October 16th, Lillian S. Wells Hall in Fort Lauderdale. John Waite, along with Pat Benatar.
Neil Giraldo.
Yeah, Neil Giraldo, of course. Aren't they a great couple, those two? That story's amazing right there.
It's
Amazing.
like Romeo and Juliet all over again. It's a great time watching it.
We're going to have a blast. We're going to be there. And, John, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with us. And
my pleasure.
We'll be there this Saturday. Let me ask you, if we bring a guitar, would you be able to sign it to benefit the Miami Children's Cancer Center?
I'd love to. Anything you need, I'll give you some artwork, too.
No worries, sir. All right. I'll touch base with you Saturday, and we'll go from there. And I will send you a link to this interview once it's up this afternoon.
Oh, thanks very much. I'll get it on Facebook.
Wonderful. Safe travels on the road, my friend, and we'll see you Saturday night.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.